everybody, this is Travis. I'd like to welcome you to RZR Garage. Now, I made some videos a couple years ago, several years ago, the RZR800 to RZR S conversion using the Super ATV conversion kit, if you will, all their parts. Now, I have no affiliation with Super ATV. They don't pay me to say anything. They're not sponsoring videos or anything. I'll throw that out right off the bat. I'm not paid by anybody to say anything, but anywho, I made these videos a couple years ago, and I had them up on another channel. That was my Your Home Workshop was the name of the channel. Now, I don't have that channel anymore. It was hacked. It got stolen from me. I had no control over it at all. And then eventually, I did make a short video that I put up on another channel that I started that I haven't really done anything with since. And I asked people to report my old channel. And eventually, the channel got shut down and all my videos are gone. But I had this series of videos up on that channel, and a new subscriber here at RZR Garage said that he was working on the same thing for himself right now, and he asked me if I still had the videos and if I could repost them, and I do. So what you're going to see is a reposting of my videos that I made using the Super ATV conversion kit and their parts and stuff, because I like to do what if a subscriber asks me for something and it could give it something I can possibly do. I do try to do that. Now I apologize, I haven't been posting any videos for a good while. A lot of that is because the other channel got stolen, and it kind of hit me. It hurt. I put 7 years of work, and I had a lot of videos up on that channel. I don't know if any of you ever watched it, but you can't now because it ain't there. So, but it was a lot of work and a lot of projects, a lot of videos, a lot of time, a lot of money, everything out of my own pocket. Nobody ever sponsored me for anything, or nothing. I just did it for fun pretty much. Made very little money off of it, if any. Most of the time I didn't make any. But that ain't the point. I did it because I enjoyed doing it, helping somebody out. So that's what this is, once again, is for. Because somebody asked me to repost the videos because he needed some help on his project. So that's what we're doing. It's a series of 3 videos. I don't know, they're about 20, 25 minutes, maybe half, something like that, whatever they are. So here we go, and thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and thank everybody for everything. And we'll get on to the working on the RZR. Alright, now the back is going to be more of an overview because it comes apart and goes together pretty much the same as the front, except for there's no ball joints, and there's no tie rod, nothing to adjust like that. So I've gone ahead and I've taken this axle nut off, and now we're going to take the brake lines off, the brake line off, and the caliper. going to reuse all these bolts that we're taking out so far. Now, you want to take this back bolt here out first, like we just did, because this front one, when you slide the bolt out, it'll come right to the edge, right to where the other bolt was. So we need that clearance. And now, okay, this stock brake line on this side, I've already got it unhooked from the splitter. Now I didn't turn the camera on for that because that splitter block is way back in here. I wouldn't have, you wouldn't have been able to see much of the darkness in my hand anyhow. So, but again, what you do is you take this one for the driver's side off completely. After you remove the brake line for the passenger side, you feed it back through over here and you save it. You run that brake line to the driver's side, and the kit has a new brake line to attach into your splitter block and run underneath and over to the passenger side. Now, we're going to use these stock clamps again. I got to get a shorter bit. Now your brake line comes around here, around the back. There's a little clamp here, little cable tie, and it's screwed into the frame with the T25 Torx head screw. But we want to get that out of there so we can reuse that. Okay, now we'll take that clip. And we'll put that back in there. and we can pull it and push it as we need to when we get that far. And now we're going to take this factory sway bar out. Now I already took the bolts out on the other side, and I already got them loose over here. Bolts out. Yeah. And well, however you can get that out of there, go right ahead. As you see, I took that cover off, and I wiggled it out that way, and I actually turned it, took it down through the bottom A-arm, and around. Hope the new one goes in a little easier than that. Well, I slid that new sway bar in, and as you can see, it goes right in and out of there. I'm just setting it out of the way for now. And your kit will come with these brackets like this. And there's a little grease fitting in there from the factory. You want to take that out. There's new grease fittings in the kit. So take these here supplied nuts and bolts. And the driver's side goes on like that. Fits over that bracket. And now we're going to take these factory bushings and we're going to put them on there, and take the new clamp, slide it over that. Now these back ones, they're also adjustable like just like the front ones were. Now it also recommends in the directions to set these at 3/8 of an inch. So I went through the same procedure, set my caliper at 3/8 and then measured from the edge of the nut to where the thread starts. For this we got this adjustable link. We got 2 nuts and a spacer. Well, it doesn't say in the directions how to set this up or adjust it, but we're just going to go like that. Now, these are half 13 bolts. Got to go get more tools because these are 3/4 inch. And now on the other side, I did go ahead and put that brake caliper on off camera because my wife was out here and she don't like to be in my videos. Now when you're doing bleeding brakes on your Polaris, you pretty much have to have one of these vacuum bleeder pumps. What I like to do is, though, first make sure you have plenty of fluid in your master cylinder. Then I just go to the wheel and open the bleeder and just let it gravity flow for a while. You always want to start bleeding brakes with the wheel furthest from your master cylinder, just like the vehicle. Now that took about 5 minutes for that to start getting any fluid out through it, so we're going to put that on there, and we're going to start vacuum pumping it. Now as you can see, there's a lot of air in there. Well, maybe you can't see. The light's bad over here in this corner. I had to unplug my lights so I could plug my camera in. The battery was dead. I'm going to go ahead and finish bleeding all these. There's a lot of brakes to bleed here. And there we have it. One RZR S suspension package complete installed. I didn't show you all the bleeding the brakes or, just minor stuff that's self-explanatory. I wanted to get the basics of the mechanical install. And I hope I covered that. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Hope you learned something. And there it is. It's all done. We got a lot of ground clearance. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. 5 more inches. Then here in the back, also I noticed while editing some things I didn't say. I wasn't particularly talking a lot through the back installation, but you want to use the longer shocks in the back, because once again when you open all the boxes up, you'll have 2 longer ones and 2 shorter ones. The 2 shorter ones are for the front, 2 longer ones go in the back. And as for your axles, the shorter axles go in the back. The longer set of axles, like we said earlier in the last video, are for the front. Now when I put these together, I set this preload on the spring. I measured from this nut down to where the lead thread starts. Now I set these to start with, just to put it together, I set that at 4.5 inches on both sides. Now when I set it down, because you have more weight in the back of this machine than you do in the front. Now what I ended up with for the preload on the spring, I ended up with 5 7/8 of an inch. That's 5 7/8 from this lead thread up to the bottom of your jam nut for your spring tension setting. Now also too, earlier in the video you saw me hooking up this sway bar on both sides. Now I don't recommend doing that until you set the machine down. Leave one side of your sway bar, leave one side unattached. Because if you, like I found out, if you attach your sway bar with all the weight off of it, then when you set it down, your machine's not going to sit level. It's going to be crooked. So what you want to do is leave one side off and then set your machine down. On its own weight on the tires, and then roll it back and forth until your suspension settles back out. Because if you just set this straight down off the jack, it's not going to compress the whole way. It's not going to settle in where it normally rides at. So you want to push your machine forwards and backwards until they settle in, and then you go ahead and set your spring tension for your ride height, or if you want to make it softer or harder, set your spring tension on both sides and get your machine sitting level, and then attach your sway bar. Now with it sitting on its own weight, you want to be able to move both sides so they feel about the same, because these are heim joints and you should be able to turn them. If there's so much stress on those that you can't turn these when it's sitting, then you're not adjusted properly. Then all you do is just loosen one of them, or take one of them off and set your ride height, and make sure you have it set in level, like I said, and then just reattach. Just adjust these links so where you can just put, just slide that bolt in with no force. You don't want to have to beat that in there. Just slide that in there by hand, and you should be able to turn it just like that. And so, in the last scene, that was back in 2014, I think, whenever it was, when I filmed this series of videos originally. I just wanted to show you real quick now in 2020 what I've had to do since. Now, I did this a couple years ago. Now, as you can see on this back shock, on the back coilover, I actually had to take the coil off of it that came from Super ATV, because it was all sacked out. I mean, there just wasn't there wasn't no more adjusting it. And I actually put the stock, I took the coil off the stock coilover and put it on the Super ATV shock body. I had to do that, and that made a lot of improvement. Now, I don't know if we'll be able to see this too well, but I'll try to get in Okay, now here's where I was showing you with the sway bar. Now I had a lot of problems with these bolts actually coming loose all the time, and and they were lock nuts and the whole deal, and it kept coming loose all the time. And then eventually, I don't know how well you can see, but I actually broke the frame. It ripped this whole part of the frame out from here to here with that sway bar on. So what I ended up doing, I took the sway bar off completely. Don't use it at all. After I broke this frame, I had to weld it all back in. Now let's get. I welded these on these ears onto the frame. Well, kind of wish I wouldn't have done that now, because I'd like to take them out, but I guess I could. I'd have to cut them. But if you're riding somewhere, I don't know how everybody rides or what kind of trails everybody else has, but typically the places I go, you need a lot of articulation in the wheels up and down, and going hillsides and up in mud holes and wherever, and I need a lot of articulation typically, and that's what broke that frame out right there. And so I just, no sway bar on the back, no sway bar on the front. And like I said, I changed this spring out from the Super ATV springs. I put the stock spring on the Super ATV shock absorber body. And if you watch any of the other videos, we like our mud. So what I did, if you want to go through my other videos, I moved the radiator out of the front and I put it up here on the back, up behind our heads on the roll bar, so it don't get clogged with mud. It's pretty much a mud machine, and it's all snorkeled. All the vents are up high, and we got ITP Mudlight tires on here with ITP SS212 wheels. We'll get you back so you can see the whole finished product. This is when I did the video originally. I just put the stock wheels and tires back on it because that's what we had, because we spent a lot of money on the suspension kit. And you do a little bit at a time. Spend what money you got when you got it. So, and that's the finished product. Try to get some sort of a similar angle, but that is the finished product all together. And I took the a Polaris, that's a Polaris front bar there, and I modified it so I could put a winch on it, and so it wouldn't rip it apart, because it's not really made to be a winch bumper. So I remade it into a winch bumper. So, buy what you have to buy and make what you can. There was no kit for this radiator install, so I had to make all that. But like I said, if you go to my my channel page, you'll find a video on how I made that radiator assembly and how to do that for yourself. And if you have any questions, hit me in the comments. And I hope you all liked the series of videos that I did. They were a bit lengthy. Now the third video here in the series, after watching it and uploading it again here, the third one isn't really my favorite, because I wasn't talking a whole lot, and I wasn't too happy with the camera angles on some of that. Now, looking back, I could have done better. I apologize that I went through the third part the way I did. I think I was feeling a little off that day. I was a little sick, but I wanted to get the job done so we could ride, and so my wife could have her machine all back in one piece. But I appreciate all the subscribers and the non-subscribers. I appreciate all the views, and any comments or questions you might have, hit them down below in the comment section. And I thank you for watching. Maybe I'll see you out on the trail. I'm out.